Well, I've seen really Iran and Ukraine's NATO facility.
Yeah, and we are live on most of the outlets because I forgot to start Instagram, but it will be on in a second. How are you doing, Larry?
Hey, still alive. You know, we didn't have a nuclear yet.
Exactly. Well, so far so good. And interestingly enough, I was just checking on Israeli Times, the Times of Israel, that they are thinking about negotiating with Lebanon for a truce. Well, a ceasefire or whatever they want to do about that. Did you see any movements?
You mean with Hezbollah or with Lebanon?
With Lebanon. They will never negotiate with Hezbollah, I guess. They will...
Well, I mean, there's nothing to negotiate with Lebanon. Lebanon's not fighting. Lebanon's not... That doesn't make sense.
Oh, well, yeah. The first thing that came to my mind was that, well, they're probably going to come out with some, stupid peace plan like Zelensky. And now you just acknowledge what's the deal. They don't have to negotiate anything with Lebanon.
Yeah. Israel's caught in a trap. We all cue up the Elvis Presley music, for this, caught in a trap. But last night, the Hamas killed 4 more soldiers in Gaza. Now, Israel, the mightiest army in the Middle East, who was it? U.S. News and World Report or one of these crazy outlets listed Israel as the number 3 strongest military in the world. And it's, excuse my crude language, but you got to be shit. I mean, that is so ridiculous. Israel more powerful than China? Get me a break. The Israeli army would constitute 10% of what the entire Israeli army is, 10% of maybe one of China's divisions. I mean, it's just absurdist stuff like that. But so here's this mighty army now going 14 months. It's the attacks launched by Hamas on October 7th. And Israel has been unable to quell the attacks, to pacify the area. They've killed a lot of Palestinians. They estimated over 20,000 children. They killed children. They want to destroy, babies like your little daughter. I mean, just think about the monstrousness, because they don't want them to reproduce. They don't want them to grow up, because the Arab population, the Palestinian population is growing faster than the Israeli population. So Israel figure out the only way to stop it is to try to kill them. Israel, despite destroying the buildings, hospitals, clinics, mosques, churches, relief agencies, Palestinians are still standing, and they're still fighting. And so, the idea would be that if you actually conquered a territory, that you would be in control of it. Your people could move free about without having to be worried about being ambushed. They could sleep at night without worrying about a rocket attack or something. They can't do any of that. It's not under their control. Then to compound it, they've gone into southern Lebanon and have yet, listening to Professor Sayed Mohammed Marandi, an American citizen, by the way. He was born in America. But Professor Marandi was saying that so far Israel has not captured and held a single village in southern Lebanon. They've suffered significant casualties. They're suffering on average 3 to 4 casualties a day. And, their ability to sustain that, there are some reports that Yoav Gallant, the Minister of Defense, wants to start pulling out. So we'll see. And then they launched the attack on Iran, and it looks like Iran's going to retaliate in the next day or two. So Israel's not in a good situation. Their economy is imploding, not expanding. The people who would normally oppose Netanyahu and the religious crazies are leaving the country. So increasingly, Israel falls under the spell of these Zionist nuts who believe that they're the only ones entitled to live in Israel and everybody else has to go.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Ukraine. Every day I think I read the news, it always sounds like Ukraine. But yeah, still on this matter of the Israeli attack, we've been you made a fantastic, and I am so angry to myself that I have not thought about that. But the video that you exposed on Nima's channel was amazing, was fantastic. The Neo holding the bullets about the attack on Israel. I actually reacted to that on my Saturday live stream. I laughed my ass off from that. And it was, we were on the moment. By the way, we had to change our day because it looks like everybody decides to do stupid stuff on Thursdays and Fridays, and I can only get you on Thursday, on next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
That's a lot of time. No, I'm just kidding. But we were at the moment we were watching, looking. Me and the guys from all the WhatsApp groups and channels together, watching what was going on, the development, and we were like, so. Was that it? I think I wrote to you on the day. Was that it?
Yeah.
And then something happened like 2 hours later. I was asleep at that time. But yeah, we were all very focused on what was not happening because it didn't happen anything or nothing significant. But we still have not figured out what was the plan to it. Do you have a minimum idea on what they were thinking about it?
Yeah, well, I think the plan was to first take out the air defense systems in Iran. They thought that they could do that. Called SEAD, S-E-A-D, suppress enemy air defense. So that was the first step. And then that was going to be a full-on attack where if that air defense was suppressed, then possibly some of the fixed-wing aircraft that Israel had could have flown into Iran to drop heavier bombs on specific targets. Because, the cruise missiles that they were using to defeat the enemy air defense, or the Iranian air defense, I don't want to call them the enemy, they carry, they have a limited amount of explosive that can be carried on that, in contrast to what they can put onto a bomb. Well, that first wave got stopped. I mean, significantly. Yeah, a few got through. I think 4 or 5 Iranian soldiers manning one of the air defense batteries were killed. Israel went out and claimed, we wiped out S-300s. This is a huge embarrassment for Russia. No, it wasn't. I mean, good God, these people lie. That's the only thing they do really well is lie. And to pretend that the Russian air defense was defeated, to the contrary, what happened was the F-35s that were following along behind, stealth aircraft supposedly, they got illuminated by something coming out of Iran. You can call it a radar, but to be illuminated means something in Iran 100 miles outside of Iran. And at that point, the Israeli pilots went, "Oh shit," because all of a sudden they knew if they can see you, they can kill you. So Israel, that's where Israel had to make a choice, and that's where the attack they got it all. Now there was video of the cruise missiles, and you could tell they were cruise missiles because they were flying, parallel to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They were not coming in like this, ballistic missile being controlled by gravity. And the Iranian air defense was shooting them out of the sky. It's going to fly, boom, 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 just one after another. And it was really quite a contrast to what happened when Iran attacked Israel on October 1st, where you could see the missiles just dropping in one after another, and only an occasional one was intercepted. The rest of them hit. And Israel's fantastic at playing the spin game. Oh, well, we knew they weren't going to hit anything important, so we didn't want to waste any missiles. Oh, shut up. Please. Just admit you're short and ugly, okay? Stop pretending that you're tall and beautiful. It's not. You're short and ugly.
I admit I'm short and ugly.
I'll say that you do. Come on. I'm not in the business of running around calling men attractive or unattractive. I'm bad. Okay.
Oh, it's all right. I don't mind.
We're all God's creatures. They said we're made in His image. So,
yeah.
But what happened here is Israel's attempt to destroy the air defense system didn't work. And I'm listening to Professor Morandi, and I don't not a propagandist. I find him to be very straightforward. He said Iran did not unveil its full capability because they were concerned that perhaps this attack was being used to identify what Iran's capabilities were and how they responded and organized. Now, the other dimension in this is Russian intelligence gave on a heads up. Hey, they're coming. Get ready. They've taken off. And I said that night with Nima and Martianov that I would not be surprised that Russia has penetrated Israeli military general staff, and so they know exactly, and Israeli intelligence, so they know exactly what Israel is up to. You could tell that it didn't go well for Israel because of the one photograph that emerged of Bibi Netanyahu with Defense Minister Gallant. I forget who the other guy was. They're sitting there in the Situation Room, and they're sort of that they don't have the face of winners. I'm sure you've maybe been in a bar sometime when there's let's say the Campeonato, World Cup is going on, and Brazil is winning, and you're going, no. Brazil's winning, man. You got to grin. Your guys are winning. You're happy. Yay. And they were in Ron S. You would have seen Bibi Netanyahu and Galad. Yeah, man, we got him. High five, baby. No, that's not what they were doing. They're like, what are that shit? Now what are we doing? Okay.
The picture that you put on your blog about that on sonar21.com, I put on the thumbnail because it's perfect. It was supposed to be bigger, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and so there's you also can look at social media. What happened in Israel when Iran attacked? Well, we got these things called cell phones. They have this little thing in the back called a camera. And you know what? People can take videos.
Oh wow.
Hey man. And so and they video and they upload it to social media. So the government's ability to control that, unless they turn off all electricity and people's phones are shut down, but they don't do that. you didn't see any of that kind of social media in Iran, not because the Iranians have such strict controls, but because it didn't happen. The other indicator that it was a bust on the Israeli side, that in the days leading up to this, according to Professor Morandi, the value of the Iranian currency was going down, and the stock market was going down. The morning after the attack, everything was going up. Well, like I said, you just got your ass kicked. It ain't going up; it's going down. So, the overall what Israel planned was, and I've heard different hours. Initially it was supposed to be a 10-hour operation or a 12-hour operation. Well, it got cut back to 3. And I think you read the piece I posted on my blog. This one guy who I'm acquainted with, I don't consider despise what he stands for. But initially, when the attack started, now, man, Israel will destroy air defense, and it's going to hit this and hit that, and next thing we're going to take out the nukes. I mean, it was like he'd already popped the champagne cork and was celebrating. Yeah, we won. 8 hours later, he's going, well, the limited strike, and no, Israel really didn't intend to. It just looked like Michael Jackson moonwalking backwards. Without the same level of grace. So the whole Israeli fin patrol then broke out. Hey, we got to go out and tell people that this was amazing, that we destroyed everything. Okay, show us pictures. They showed one appeared to show some like scorched earth beneath an object, and then someone else found out that scorched earth been there since April. So I mean, it's been there for months. So this was not new. And they don't show pictures of massive destruction. And I mean, it's such delusional bullshit that is being fed to people. And that's why it's important that channels like this, others, get out to say, hey, the lies you're being told isn't true.
Yeah, exactly. The day, just a couple of hours after I woke up, it had happened for like 5 or 6 hours already. I started seeing the reports all trying to spin off. Well, it was, as you said, it wasn't really that thing. That was just a demonstration. What called a lot my attention was that when the attack, when the first wave, they called the first wave of attack started happening, we didn't see anything at all. There was even some videos floating out of Iranians on the roof, just looking for the attacks. Yeah. You see that? Yeah. And I was like, okay, let's wait, because too early, too soon to start making fun of it. And then there was this tweet from the ITF, which I call, from the spokesperson saying, we are going to start our attack, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, nothing happening. And then when the second wave kind of happened, and we see the Neo holding the bullets, then it came out also the ITF Twitter, said the spokesperson saying, well, now we did it, because there was something to show up, not something amazing, but there was something to show up. And I was like, did these guys try to do something and failed miserably? So they just, get them a couple of missiles, say, just throw something on them. And at least we have some images of fireworks. Nothing hitting the grounds, but fireworks.
Yeah, no, look, this is akin to the Israelis being like a girls' soccer team, football team, being told men's. because they are so good and so powerful. And, up to this point, they've been playing middle school boys, prepubescent boys. They've been able to beat them. Well, now all of a sudden they're going to come up against a bunch of transgender women, who are actually guys,
Big
dudes with the full benefit of testosterone. And you saw it happen the other day when that one women's team played a bunch of guys in their 50s. The guys in their 50s beat them 19-0. Okay? That's what happened to Israel. Israel sits around and said, oh, we're so good. Yeah, because you haven't been fighting anyone. You've been killing women and children. Yeah, you're beating on our people. Boy, that takes a real tough guy. But you're not going up against an actual nation with army force air defense system that can counter you. And so, they've gotten away. Yeah, they can bomb indiscriminately in Lebanon. Lebanon doesn't have anything. They've got a useless army, and they have no air defense, and they have no air force. So again, it's just they're getting beat up by the bully. Neighborhood bully can pick out the weak and beat it up. Now Iran's saying, no, this is going to stop. I was hopeful in the aftermath of that attack, or as it was, underway, but appeared to be failing, that Iran would win. But they would say, okay, we've absorbed your hardest punch, didn't hurt us. We're going to ignore what you did and, move on some other fronts, boost Hezbollah, boost Houthis, let them carry out the attacks. But apparently our IRGC commander said, no, Israel's going to pay a price soon. So I think Iran's going to strike back, and they'll strike back probably in the next couple of days. And when Iran strikes, this time, they're going to cause significant damage in Israel. Damage that Israel's not going to be able to pretend. That didn't happen. Because, candidly, that's what it's going to take for Israel to come to its senses. They're going to have to suffer some very visible, awful destruction where, they got thousands of their citizens dead and key facilities destroyed. And, to suddenly come to grips with the fact that Iran's not playing. I would also, I think I've come to believe that Iran does now have a nuke, and they have moved forward with it. I think Alexander Mikuris did an excellent job of a discussion in one of his presentations the other day, where he pointed out that the fatwa, if properly interpreted, would actually indicate that the religious prescription was on using a nuke, not on having one. Because having one puts you in a position of being able to deter that you throw one at us, we can throw one at you. So you don't want to do that. Neither side will benefit from that. So this is, I think Israel's, there comes a time where all of your bragging, all of your gaslighting gets exposed, and you have to come to grips with it. And we're seeing that, on the political side here in the United States with the Harris campaign. Now that they realize that Kamala Harris is just an empty head. She's just not smart, can't handle a conversation. But despite saying, oh yeah, she's really incredibly popular. Well, no, she isn't.
No,
and that's not. Sort of where Israel, and in fact, Israel keeps, it's like, it's like a couple of them are sitting in the decision room going, what else can we do to really piss off the world, to really isolate ourselves? Oh, I know. Let's ban UNRWA. Let's call them a bunch of terrorists. And let's prevent the UN from providing any relief assistance. Oh, good job. That's even irritated the United States government. Well, they're going, whoa, wait a damn minute. No. That's if you do that, then you're going to get cut off. Israel seems, it is, anybody that's ever dealt with this type of Israeli, and I have, it is an arrogance coupled with a blindness. It's a deadly combination of arrogance and ignorance, hubris. They don't think rationally. It's all emotion.
Those things usually walk together, no? And you mentioned Alexander's interpretation of the fatwa, and that show was really amazing, and I invite everyone to watch that one. Was his analysis not only about that, but on the entire regional balance of power concerning this situation of nukes, and it's interesting to understand that. It's very good. And he mentions also the not only not possessing it, but if you start to put not even put a nuke on the table, but putting the narrative of nukes on the table, all countries around can start to say, oh, damn, we better prepare because things are going to get bad. And that could completely change the situation for the United States. And yeah, please.
Well, no, I was just going to say that if this escalates, so Iran's going to retaliate, hit Israel. Israel's going to feel compelled to respond, and depending upon what they're able to accomplish or hit, and particularly if the United States gets involved, suddenly the Persian Gulf gets into play, and you get a shutdown of oil traffic out of the Persian Gulf. You got dissipations world economy, and this again here we encounter the gulf that separates what the United States and Israel believe about themselves and what they're actually capable of doing. And so the United States indulges in this fantasy: we're the most powerful military in the world. Nobody can stand against us. Unless they're the Houthis in Yemen. They've done a pretty good job of standing against us.
And everyone
they've been doing it for over 10 months now. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, Operation Prosperity Guardian. We're gonna stop those Houthis from shutting down there. We're gonna show them they can't interfere with maritime traffic. Well, now it's almost November. So we're entering the 11th month of Operation Prosperity Guardian, and it's been a complete bust. So explain to me how the mighty United States, who cannot stop the Houthis, who cannot keep the Red Sea open, are all of a sudden going to take on Iran, who's bigger, badder, and stronger, and better armed. Explain that one to me. Does not make sense. And in fact, any U.S. ships that get close to Iran are going to get taken out by hypersonic missiles. So all of a sudden, for the first time, maybe since the Israeli attack on the USS Liberty, you're going to have U.S. ships significantly damaged, if not sunk. And again, all of this is taking place against the background of that the number of missiles, so air defense missiles and such that the U.S. has to fire are limited in number. There's not an unlimited number. A significant amount have been used up in Ukraine. A large number have been now used up in Israel. And they can only use, they're going to exhaust the supply, and there's not a producer in the United States that's cranking them out, or in London. So, the United States could all of a sudden wind up, hey, we don't have any more bullets to put in the gun.
The other day you mentioned the capability of production of those missiles, and it's extremely limited.
Yeah, Lockheed Martin making the Patriot missiles. Yeah.
Yeah, which by the way, I saw that which was Lockheed Martin, right? LTX or something like that now.
They bought
RTX.
I guess they bought up Raytheon, is my understanding.
Raytheon, Lockheed. I made
They've
mistake.
merged. So you got this big behemoth, lots of, you know, if you've owned Northrop Grumman or Lockheed Martin stock, you good war is profit.
Yeah.
That's why Smedley, or the Marine General, said it was a racket. Because that's what it is.
Yeah. It was just to mention that you said that the F-35s. I don't quite believe you that they were seen. You know, they are so stealth that nobody saw them. They were there, just nobody saw them. that is. I give credits to Hoje no Marcelo Militar. It's another channel.
Yeah, you're doing the joke about the
Yugoslavia.
The captain ordered all his troops put on your camouflage and assemble outside. And so the one soldier named Max comes outside, and the captain looks at him and says, "Corporal, I don't see your camouflage." And Max says, "Thank you, it's working."
Amazing.
Bad joke.
But you know, it's amazing. It's always a great joke. Well, it looks like the king was actually naked after all. So
this, you know, the General Accounting Office, GAO, which is sort of the government auditor, goes out to say, hey, know what things are supposed to do, but do they work as they're supposed to do? And so they did an evaluation of all these different military aircraft. Good, and Andrei Martyanov actually did a program on it last night. None of the F-35s have met any of their combat requirements. None. There are like 6 elements that they're evaluated on. So what you've got is a really expensive fleet of combat aircraft that actually can't really perform their missions.
Yeah, and we just saw it. They just turned around.
Yeah.
Larry, since you mentioned, and this was a topic for today's conversation, because, you know, I just seem that we're not giving a damn about the American elections at all. Not seeing anything significant. Well, I'm seeing, you know, the Big Brother USA elections or whatever, you know, the clown show with, you know, Donald McDonald and Kamala Janis deploying Obama to rap. That was awkward. What do you have? Do you have anything to say about that? You know, we had Beyonce. We had.
Well, you're old enough to remember when they came out with a new version of Coke, or was it Pepsi, and it tasted awful. But Trump initially insisted, no, it tastes great. And they kept saying, oh, people are going to love it. And people hated it. They wouldn't buy it. And they finally had to pull back and say, okay, that was a dud. Or when Anheuser-Busch pushed, you know, the transgender guy out to, you know, dressed up like Audrey Hepburn and say, oh, we're gonna expand our beer drinking audience by appealing to these transgender. No, really, it's a great idea. Yeah, let's do it. And what happened?
Drop the stock market.
You know, the beer sales went through the floor. So now the Democrats are trying to push Kamala Harris as this, you know, great new thing. Oh man, she is amazing. She's wonderful, and they aren't buying it. People simply aren't buying it. They go, no, she's a dunderhead. She's an idiot. Or as Mel Gibson said, she's got the IQ of a fence post. Now,
of shrubbery.
You know, with Donald Trump, what strikes me as so odd is a lot of these political analysts keep acting like he's something new. Oh, we're going to reveal this about Donald Trump, and that will make people not want to vote for him. You know what? if you put Jesus Christ and Donald Trump up side by side, I think Donald Trump's had more exposure than Jesus over the last, 30 years. Okay. People know more about him inside and out, failings. He's been this public figure, this celebrity. That, it's like recently came out some woman, some swimsuit model. He groped me 30 years ago. Oh, and we're hearing about this now. And people go, okay.
Were you not expecting it to happen? It's Donald Trump. Everybody knows him.
So now all they can do is claim that Donald Trump is Hitler.
And Stalin. And who else?
Pol Pot.
And Mussolini.
And Mussolini. I mean, he's everything. He's Satan, maybe. He's Satan.
Why not?
But the fact is that the policies advocated by the Democrats over the last 3.5 years have not worked. Inflation, it's something as simple as logs. They call it logs of hamburger for my dogs, and we're paying year and a half ago, $8.95 a log. Now it's up to $17.95, doubled in price, more than double. And so people are running into that and recognizing they want to vote it out. Trump, despite all of his, he's not a philosopher in any stretch. He's not one who is a deep strategic thinker. He's very much sort of a guy with good street smarts, knowing how to make a deal, trying to see, he can't see that from the other person's side. But he's been part of this, let's call it this deep state establishment without being compromised by it. I don't know if you saw the meme, it's pretty funny. It lists Bill Clinton and Hillary and Bill Clinton as we didn't know they were Nazis. Here they are attending a Nazi event, which was the wedding of Donald Trump and Melania Trump, 20 plus years ago. So this all they can do is try to paint Trump as Hitler. Now, Trump, his decision-making process has been a little erratic. I mean, he selected just some terrible neocons to be in his administration the first go round. I think he's learned from that. It appears that he has. His selection of J.D. Vance as a vice presidential candidate, I think, was very, very smart. And you saw that yesterday in an interview that Vance did, where they were trying to get him to talk about Russia and China as enemies. And he says, no, we got to be careful about our language. We need to think about how we're talking about these countries. We can have adversarial relations where we are adversaries, but we don't have to be enemies. And we need to go to war with Russia or with China. And I'm going, see, that's smart. Now, Trump is very close to Israel, but the other irony there is the Jews who are backing the Zionists so ardently in Israel, a lot of them aren't willing to support Trump. So, it's complicated. There's a fear that Trump will enable Netanyahu to continue killing the Palestinians, but I think there's an element of Trump recognizing that he's got to get Israel to stop. And, Israel's like a meth addict that's getting ready to start taking hits on fentanyl, that if they don't stop them, they're going to kill themselves. Israel's in the process of destroying itself. And its very survival as a nation could be put in, really come into question in the next 12 months. And so I would see Trump trying to do something to intervene to help prevent that. Whether he can or not is a whole different matter. But it's sort of a long way of saying that the momentum in the United States is entirely with Trump. I put a piece up on Sonar 21 last night that, in the 2016 campaign, so it started in 2015, how did you see Donald Trump? Where did you see Donald Trump? Well, he was on every cable news show, every television show he could get on. He still was welcome on those shows. And man, he milked that media for all it was worth. And, the newspapers covered it. So the corporate media, both, the legacy and the cable news, as well as the newspapers, they were still, let's call them, somewhat relevant in 2015, 2016. But then Trump tapped into a zeitgeist, and it completely surprised him that he won. Maybe it surprised him too. So then by 2020, Trump wasn't welcome on most of the media, and but he shifted to these rallies as the way to go and get his message out. And even though the claim was that Biden won 81 million votes, I mean, there's no way in hell he was more popular than Barack Obama and attracted more votes than Barack Obama. Yet the cheating that took place generated that many ballots to get him elected. But the fact of the matter is, Trump was more popular in 2020 than he was in 2016. So now let's come to 2024, and the media is desperate for Trump, terribly unpopular, and people just can't stand him. What he does, he did this, now social media, shows like yours, shows like Joe Rogan, Steve Bannon's show, Tucker Carlson's show, Jack Posovic's show, Charlie Kirk's show. You go on and on down the list. You're finding that the number of people watching on computers and streaming services has dramatically moved away from the corporate media, both cable and legacy. That just the interview that Joe Rogan did with Trump the other day, I haven't looked today, but I suspect it's well over 40 million views. If you could combine all TV stations in the United States, ABC, CBS, NBC, with PBS, the public broadcasting service, and then with cable news, with Fox, CNN, MSNBC, put them all together, and you're going to be lucky to get maybe 26 million viewers between all of those. And here's, Rogan pulling in 40 million. Tucker did over 100 million with when he did his interview with Putin. So people are getting their news off of social media. They're watching TikTok, they're watching Twitter. That's why Elon Musk taking over Twitter was so important. And then on top of that, Trump with the endorsements of RFK Jr. and with Tulsi Gabbard, among others. Certainly not traditional Republicans by any stretch, and Vivek Ramaswamy. So Trump's once again, I would argue, he's got his finger on the pulse of the zeitgeist here in America, and knows sort of which way the social media is running. Whereas Kamala doesn't. She's turned down Joe Rogan and said, "Hey, come on." And, no, I'm too busy. Drinking my Chardonnay. Got to get tanked before I go on TV. Otherwise, I might say something stupid.
It's not helping.
Yeah. So, the early voting started. There's quite a turnout for the Republicans over the Democrats so far. There's still the possibility of some unbelievable cheating. We'll see. But Trump, if Trump's elected, that's not going to mean, oh man, our problems are solved, because he says he'll end the war in Ukraine. Well, Russia's got a lot of demands that Trump will find difficult to accept off the bat, and Russia's going to achieve those demands through military conquest. I think it's that simple. Because they would want guarantee for Odessa as an example. The Russian speakers want firm assurances that Ukraine will never be brought into NATO. And what's going on behind the scenes, though, what's really making this Ukraine war continue it's born out of economic desperation on the part. I guess the Brits have pledged so much money; they're on the hook. Basically, they've made loans. They were using Ukrainian resources as collateral. And if Russia keeps all that collateral, all of a sudden Britain doesn't have it. And then same with BlackRock. With the money, they basically thought that they had to, they owned a piece of the rock, that they owned Ukraine, and they don't.
Yeah.
So this is, it's the financial part of that that's limited, not some, military strategic objective. And that, that's what folks are arguing too. So, but Trump offers a promise to at least stop the influx of these illegal aliens into the United States, to try to restore some order to the cities, to try to get inflation under control. And it may be beyond his ability to do it, but he certainly knows what problems are and how to try to fix problems. He's done that throughout his life. Whereas Kamala Harris
has no idea.
She can't even fix her own hair, I don't think.
I like that one. I'm gonna steal it.
Yeah, man. Plagiarism.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, Trump is terrible for us Latin America. That I have to say. But I don't know. It's as always, I hope the best for the United States, but I also hope the best for the rest.
Why do you say Trump? Why do you say Trump is bad for for Latin America?
My belief is that he's going to finish everything else. Ukraine, Israel. He's going to, guys, sit down, shut up, and he's going to pivot to Venezuela and Latin America. That's my impression.
Okay, and I would counter that with saying that actually the what makes Trump actually probably better for Central South America than the Biden administration is he's not on people's affairs. He's not big on, hey, we got to change this government, we got to change that government. Now
come on, man.
When Bolton got in there, they tried to. That was the whole Juan Guaido fiasco. But I think ultimately his instincts are, we don't need to be going out and getting ourselves involved with all these, third world wars. We fix our act at home first. And but you may be right. We'll see.
I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. Of course, this is the situation where I hope for the best. Of course, the MAGA movement, in my vision, is an internalizing movement. It's something that, as you mentioned, we have to stop what we're trying to do outside, and we have to fix we have to put ourselves together.
Yeah,
that would be good. That I think it would be very good for everybody. Win-win situation. As you said, I think it was you on the Judge saying that when Trump was going out with Bolton and meeting other leaders, and everybody was saying, "Oh shit, this guy came talking about Bolton," are we starting a war?
No, I mean, John Bolton is emblematic of the worst of Trump's choices. He's part, he is the sort of the heart of darkness of Washington, D.C. He literally lived up the street from me where I lived in Bethesda, Maryland. So I lived on Burning Tree Road, and then you'd go up to Bradley Boulevard, you'd hang a right, and then take the immediate next left. This was right there. Here he was out shoveling snow. I should have run him down. Oh, my car slipped. Yeah. Got it. would have saved America from him. So he's a bad human being. He promotes death and destruction, not life, not freedom.
Larry, well, there's a week to go. I hope for the best for everybody. Let's wait and see.
We'll see.
Let's wait and see. But I know we are about 1 hour. I had one bonus question that can be very quickly, because I don't know if you're paying too much attention to this. I know you're paying attention to the BRICS summit that just happened in Kazan. But
Yeah.
I would like to ask you, what's your opinion about the situation between Brazil and Venezuela, which Brazil kind of vetoed the entrance of Venezuela on the BRICS plus?
I wondered what that was all about. Again, why is Lula not minding his own business? You oppose the meddling of other countries inside Brazil, but now you want to meddle inside Venezuela. But I think that the government situation in Venezuela is terrific. No, that's not. But I don't live there, and I didn't. I don't get a chance to vote there. Is he considered an authoritarian ruler? Well, depending on who you ask. The situation there is a little more complicated than the West likes to make it, because we want to portray them as these communist dictators. And part of what they are is they got tired of being the house servants of the United States. The slaves. Because the United States always put a high priority on controlling Venezuela. I remember, back when I was at CIA, they had, I was told, I didn't have saw anything classified to confirm it, but I was told by people who worked the issue at the agency that Carlos Andres Perez, who was the president at one point, he was the CIA, he was paid CIS. So, the U.S. government was controlling key leadership throughout Central and South America, just to get them to do what we wanted them to do. Now that Nicolas Maduro is sort of carving out his own path forward, and the United States worked its ass off to interfere in that internal election to try to have it come out differently, and failed. And yet we get all upset. Oh my God, Russia's interfering in our election. That can't be allowed.
Russia, China, and Iran. What
about the Brits? Yeah, but what about the Brits? They're left party. You're campaigning for Kamala Harris. Oh, that's okay. It's just the world looks and says they understand this hypocrisy. This is, the United States no longer has credibility. We're like Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. You remember that this was this husband and wife preacher, team, claimed to be ultra religious, and turned out Jim Baker was banging hookers, and so once you get exposed that you're out there claiming to be Mr. Morality and you're leading the way at the orgies, all of a sudden it does sort of undermine your credibility. That's what's happened to the United States. People they've recognized our hypocrisy. We only pay lip service to freedom of the press, freedom of speech, that respecting the vote of the people. No. We want it our way or no way. So it comes back to even though Brazil vetoed that, the rest of BRICS said no, they get in. They at least get to be on the eligible list. You know why? They got oil
and gold.
Yeah, oil and gold. So
hell lots.
If you got resources, Venezuela, maybe they can get their act straightened out. They've been, they have been a conduit for money laundering, but again, we like to punish Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico for their role in facilitating drug trafficking, and then the fruits of that drug trafficking are all the dollars that Americans pay to buy these illegal narcotics so they can anesthetize themselves. And then we get upset at these countries for, taking that money and, enriching themselves. And it gets back to sort of what Donald Trump was talking about. America, clean up your own act first. If you're going to have,
Stop doing drugs.
if you're going to have a society where you encourage the use of drugs, I mean, our pharmaceutical industry, just watch television commercials. 80% of them are about take this drug or take that drug, and so then you reveal drug, and people go out and sedate themselves. But it's more complicated picture. So we need to take responsibility for our actions first and foremost before we try to tell the rest of the world to do, in my view.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Absolutely true. Larry, thank you very much. I know we're supposed to do 30 minutes, but there's just too much happening. And it's a very important week.
That went quick. It went quick. We weren't bored, I don't think.
No.
Muito obrigado.
Obrigado a você. Thank you very much, Larry. And everybody remember that all the links are on the description. If you want to help the work of Larry Johnson, you have the PayPal QR code here. If you want to help the press of mass destruction, the QR code is here. And I hope to see you next week, Larry. Take good care, my friend.
All right. Take care of that baby girl.
She is kicking my ass, but yeah, I'm taking very good care.
She'll be in control of you the rest of her life.
I already lost my majesty. I don't even care about that anymore. As I said, I don't mind being the short, ugly guy now.
Okay.
Have a good week.
She'll always see you as tall and handsome.
At least for now, that she's still smaller than me. 3 months from now, when she surpasses me, it's all gone.
Yeah, they grow fast, but not that fast. All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you, man. Bye-bye.